Welcome. These will be my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 6, Consumed. The episode is rated TVMA, so this video be. There will be spoilers for the episode and all the ones leading up to it. Not for anything in this franchise that came out after this first aired. And like all the episodes before it, I fucking love this episode. So I want to start by... So, before I get into the specific episode, in my video on the episode before this one, I definitely got a thing or two wrong. The episode called Self-Help. And yeah, since I already mentioned which number episode this is, you should be able to determine. It was the one right before this one. I think it's the thing about, I record these videos basically as soon as I can after watching something, and it works well for still being in like the vibe of it. It's when it's most vivid in my memory, and it feels like I'm still in the episode or game or movie. But it does also mean, well, that, and sometimes that's not the best. Yes. The thing I got wrong in Self-Help was that Abraham did find Ellen and the boys, and that was why he was so distraught. That was why he almost killed himself right before, needing to help Eugene the first time they met. So the good thing is, most of what I said, like basically just if you can mentally correct it, so each time that I say that Abraham is doing something because in his mind it's saving Ellen, if you could just change that to here, each time he does something, for the mission, it's like his life lost meaning when his family died. So he's trying to find some way to go on, and that was, yeah. And also it's especially fucked because, and I don't blame Ellen or the kids for being afraid of him. That's it's human nature. However, an argument could be made that they may have survived if they had stayed with Abraham, because like he is capable of using violence to for his surroundings to be safe-ish, at least. And I also a couple of things about mentioned. It seems like Eugene is on the autistic spectrum in some way, which again I say with love. Met dozens of wonderful people on the autistic spectrum. When they're driving, and one of them has to say, no, we're not laughing at you. That's also something I've seen in autistic people. They're laughing with him, not at him. And what was the other thing that was like that felt, god damn it, maybe I'll think of it later and mention it then. Yeah, I don't think I can recall right now. Anyway, on to this episode. So another really tight episode focused on just, with the tight focus, it's just about, a good chunk of it is just about the two of them, and then eventually also Noah. And I appreciated the way that, now we saw her. I'm slightly unclear on if they meant to hit her, because like I could see how that could be like a justification. They're like, well, I don't know, because if she doesn't remember what happened, then they can say that they saved her. And she was carrying guns. They might have used that as justification. And we already know they do fucked up shit at the hospital. But yeah, we know how she ended up there, and yeah, the thing with Daryl saying "come on out," where when he's talking to Rick, and talking to someone else, but in front of Rick. Yeah, he was talking to Noah, and yeah, they are gonna go and get Beth and Carol back, and holy shit, that's really fucking cool. Yes, I think that does. Yeah, Carol and Daryl, one of the best pairings of the show. Really, really love, and also just the way that, like, yeah, they are changing. They are, in not in a way that feels like a betrayal of their characterization up to that point, but they're growing and developing. You know, these different things that happen, that sometimes they have to do something awful. It changes them, and yeah, getting a little bit more backstory. Yeah, I think that's yeah, scene by scene. Um, yes, I thought it worked well the way that, yeah, we so the very first thing we see is her driving off after Rick sends her away. Um, and I appreciate that they don't spend forever on that, because it doesn't seem like that much happened between him sending her away and you know, to her, I mean, and then her, you know, going back to the prison. And very clever, yeah, she saw the fire, um, and ends up meeting back up with some of the survivors when they were split up because of the prison being destroyed. And yeah, one of the flashbacks, we see her right outside, you know, looking on as the you know, she burnt the two of them to kill the disease, the virus. And, you know, just the, yeah, her face, you know, the way that it is, you know, she said there's that thing about, you know, burning, being consumed by fire, you know. And let's see, the yeah, there was one of them was also to her helping bury the bodies um, with Tyrese, which yeah, that is, you know, we're seeing these things that really changed her. I think also in an earlier episode, she, you know, again applied the thing that she learned from the girl who had mental health issues and killed the other girl. You know, the thing about how you can tell if a fire is still burning or if it's dying, or if the smoke is after there's no more fire. I forget exactly what, but yeah, meant to call that out when I did a video on that episode. Anyway, yeah. Can you believe I used to do like one video talking about a whole fucking season of a show? God damn. I'm so glad I'm doing episode specific ones now. Get so much more said. Yeah. Sometimes in a video made later. Anyway, yes, the yeah. Um yeah, very cool seeing the thing of it, because yeah, you know, they managed to get in the car right after the doctor car drove by, and so yeah, they follow the yeah, and right, also yeah, briefly, yeah, so after she's sent away by Rick, you know, we can tell she is distraught. Like the first walker she just yells at, you know, like we've seen her kill walkers, you know, we know that she can do it, but she just lost her family, you know, found family. So yeah, and the, you know, um, we see the you know, she gets a bunch of empty bottles next to the place where she sleeps, you know. Those could come in handy. Um, to pee in, to drink from, first one, then the other. And yeah, genuinely really tense and suspenseful when they're so they, it's unclear if the doctor, if the cops in the doctor's car saw them. Ultimately, I don't think they did. I feel like they would probably have tried to make a move instead of waiting. But yeah, we during the scene we certainly don't know, and yeah. Um, let's see. I think that pretty well gets us to the yeah, and yeah. So basically, they see, oh, there's a cop there who may have spotted us, and Carol's like, my hand slides onto my gun and takes the safety off. I feel like, okay, so they see a cop and they instantly get their guns ready. I'm pretty sure that's how Republicans think every like routine traffic stop with a minority in the car happens. And yeah, so they let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so they get into the buildings. Love the bit where we can tell, I think it's like a reflection or something. We can see someone is watching them. We can't quite make out who. And yeah, of course it's Noah. That makes perfect sense. And and yeah, like he doesn't know who they are, yeah, I think the also the bit where they're hiding in the you know the what's it called, shelter, and the thing about, do you work here or something, because yeah, she was there, and like eventually she says, a day and a half they were there, but before, when he just asks if she worked there, she's still like, sadly, and this is again where the show is so fucking good. It really understands these characters and a lot about human beings. Sadly, it is true. People who are abused often feel shame and guilt when it's completely ridiculous. Nobody deserves to be abused. Like if you find yourself in a situation where someone else just frustrates you like to no end, like there are other things, like you don't have to abuse anyone. That is never even remotely acceptable. If you think that someone is doing something that they really shouldn't, try to find a way to, it may be like, maybe you need to, I mean, I don't know if calling the cops on someone, a lot of the time that, ends up just making things worse, sadly. But, there are like yeah, other avenues. Always, always. And once she does say it, she essentially, like, she felt like a coward for going back to him, and she does, say, yeah, he hit me, you know just like he did before I left, and just like he did, various times later. And sadly, yeah, some people who are abused end up going back to the person that was abusing them for various reasons. This shouldn't mean that others shame them. Sadly, that does happen. But, it means we have to do what we can to help them, to make sure they don't end up in a situation like that. So, yeah, really nice. And we have the thing about, she again says, I prayed for something to happen to Ed so he would stop hitting her. I really appreciate that the show makes sure we still feel like his presence is still felt. Like, I think, was it season 1 that he died, and then he appeared like once or twice in flashbacks after. But yeah, like, his presence is still, his presence still lingers here. Um, these wounds won't seem to heal. Sorry about that. shouldn't have reminded you of that song's existence. But the probably the only person who's even thought about that band in the last, I don't know, 20 years or something. But I don't even fucking know if they're still active. I don't know. I like some of their stuff. Anyway, yeah. And the yeah, and once she was relieved when Ed died, but then she also lost Sophia. And yeah, she's like, so much has burnt away. And Daryl remarks, we're not Ash. We are still here. We can still make something of this. And also the bit where she, says, and also the thing with the bunks. She still has a sense of humor and some, positive. Also, when she asks, she just really wants to take that first watch, even though they did all this, and yeah, her line, I don't think we get to save people anymore, and it's the thing about, we have to, we're different people now because we had to be, and we can still make something of this. I really appreciate the way that it goes back and forth between, if Carol and Daryl, which one is encouraging and positively affirming the other, and which one is in need of that, and each time it feels earned, like to think a while back, like Carol showed kindness to Daryl and he just couldn't, he didn't know how to deal with it because he wasn't used to people being kind to him, and now here, some of this episode, he's the one telling her, yeah, we can still, yeah, just really, really well done. I like the thing with, the painting. He's like, I bet a rich guy paid a lot of money for this, which, like, is a genuinely funny thing. And his thing about, it looks like a dog sat in paint and wiped its ass on the canvas, which, yeah. Eat the rich. What can I say? Tax the rich. Let's see. I think that brings us to the yeah, the bit where they have to, yeah, in order to get further, they come across these flesh-eating humanoids, in like tents and sleeping bags, and they end up having to kill them and being really endangered by them, which I'm pretty sure is how Republicans view all homeless encampments. But yeah, goddamn, the one of the sleeping bags is closed all the way, like zipped all the way up, and we just see movement there, and god damn it, that is so fucking, god, so effective. Just I know enough about filmmaking to know there is no way that the person in there, the stunt person in there, is actually like struggling to breathe or something. They, maybe there's like an air tank they could breathe from. Maybe they just only like zipped it shut right before filming and unzipped like after a certain amount of like I don't know exactly how much air there would be in a sleeping bag like that, but just I gotta say that is one of my personal worst fears, to be just, yeah, but yeah, they managed to get in there, and yeah, we have they fill up the water canteen, I think they're called, and yeah, as they're um, let's see, one of them is like filling, getting water out of the water cooler, and the water cooler does like a bubble, and I'm just wondering, what did it say? Oh, Sideshow Bob, even better. I like the human touch. Remember that? Remember when Simpsons did a joke about like the Republicans would like support a political candidate that was literally like an inanimate object? They would applaud that. And now there's Trump's second term with him and his like cabinet being so painfully incompetent that like an inanimate object might be an upgrade. Yeah. I think that does bring us to so yeah. The door, love the way that the chains just barely leave room that you can get in and out, which also I can imagine whoever placed the chain might have purposefully done that and then just eventually left that no longer living there, no longer staying there, but left the chains because yeah, like someone who's not too big physically. And I mean no offense to anyone who is plus sized. Yeah, you can squeeze through. And then that second time when they're trying to squeeze back out. Noah, god damn it. And he takes their weapons because like he thinks they are a threat to him. And he cuts open the he's like, well, you look like you can handle yourselves, and yeah, cuts open the tent that there's a couple there, and she's about to shoot, and Daryl does the yeah pushes so that she misses. And I really like that they actually have a conversation afterwards. She's like, he was taking our guns. I wasn't gonna kill him. And it is that thing. And I'll admit, like at first I thought maybe she was killing him because like she has been willing to do ruthless things, things that are completely devoid of ruth. And yeah, the fact that the show had me wondering, because they could have had like an POV iron sight kind of thing where we see no she's aiming for the leg, but instead it's only later, and it's not the first thing she says. The first thing she says is he was taking our guns, which sounds like justification, just yeah. And yeah, they're they've got 3 bullets and 2 knives and that's it. Or was it only 1 knife? At least 1 knife, but that's not much, And so, yeah, they find the car, the transport with the doctor symbol, and I love the fact that the fucking moment I saw it up close, I mean, not just through the scope, I was thinking that thing is going to fall possibly with them in it. There's no way that they're going to show it like that and not have it fall at all. And fantastic. It looked so good. Like the car falling off and landing, just holy shit. And the afterwards with zombies falling onto, because like, yeah, they don't understand that that's, going to kill them. And one of them's like, ends up like in half. Yeah. But yeah, they have to investigate, obviously, and they do end up finding out, the place. And I like that, she notes, it's unstable, I weigh less, and he just goes in ahead of her. Because, like, for one thing, he's not used to, like, people don't usually get to tell him what to do. Like, he kind of just does what works for him. And also, well, you didn't ask about the shooting, I just, yeah. And I like the thing when, we're in the middle of the city without guns, and the response is, we'll get more guns, or weapons, I think he says, which, I did notice there was a fire extinguisher in the shot, but they do not bring that with them, which I guess means that maybe it operates on the same rules as that game. God damn. Can I really not remember what it's called? Holy shit. Anyway, yeah, very similar. A game very similar to Left 4 Dead, although some have said it's more like Resident Evil with, multiplayer. But in that game, yeah, you can put out a fire with a fire extinguisher, but you can't hit anyone. You can't hit the zombies with it. Now, I think that might bring us to the Contagion. That's what the game is called. I'm not sure anybody's still playing it, but I had fun with it some years back. Years and years back. I don't know, 10 fucking years or something. Anyway, yeah. Let's see. But yeah, really, really cool when they get in, and fasten your seatbelt. Let's hope the um, airbag can live up to what it needs to. Jesus Christ, Carol just, she's a real car accident magnet in this episode. And yeah, they managed to get to where Noah was, and I like the detail that he tried to kill one of the zombies, but he's maybe in too much of a hurry, maybe panicking, maybe just not super used to using crossbow. He did manage to nail it with an arrow, but it only went in the throat, not the head. So it's just standing there, unable to, and Daryl finishes it off, grabs the arrow, and yeah, the way he charges at, which apparently scared the actor playing Noah. I read on IMDb trivia for this episode, and meanwhile, it was actually Daryl, the Daryl actor, Norman Reedus, did get slightly injured in a scene with him. So yeah, yeah, not gonna lie, of all the ways to die, having Norman Reedus pissed the fuck off and charging right at you, like, Jesus Christ. I don't know, it would be a pretty epic fucking way to go, but it would be fucking terrifying. Can I just, can I be eaten by one of the zombies instead, maybe? Norman Reedus is fucking awesome. Anyway, yeah, like him in everything I've seen him in. Anyway, yes, yeah, so they, they were gonna leave him right there under, a bookshelf, which, if you ask Ash Williams, those can be extremely difficult to get out from under. Seriously though, there was, you read IMDb trivia, there's a little bit of detail about that scene. Yeah, the and we see and he just lights a fucking cigarette. God, it's a fucking badass. And Carol's standing there like, we have to help him, and Daryl's like, I did help him. Not gonna happen again. And it looks like he's about to walk off, and yeah, like the walker gets extremely close, and then the arrow through its head, just so fucking cool. And the thing, and he's talking about, Noah's talking about, oh, the people from the hospital, and yeah, they ask, is there a blonde girl there? Oh, Beth. Beth, and it's, if only they had exchanged information about Beth in Bethmation from the very start. But yeah, how do you know who to trust? And you even have the exchange, why were you following us? We weren't following you. You were following us. Yes, I think that might just about bring us to, yeah. the thing with, they have weapons, they have people. So do we. So fucking cool. Um, yeah. Let's see. Not much to add about the walkers. Yeah, I always appreciate when they have so many that it's, basically like being swarmed. When they have to go into the car. Love that we see from the inside of the car one walker land on the windshield, then we hear others land. Yeah, really, really nicely done. And I think, yeah, I thought they did a good job in this episode with the walkers of making them feel persistent and like an ever-present threat. Like there wasn't really a very long time in the episode where it just felt like, well, there's no walker anywhere nearby here. There's no way that they could possibly be threatened by walkers here. But yeah, I also quite liked, when Daryl says, no, Carol, we don't have to deal with them right now, and then great transition there where, first it's like there's not a huge amount of light on a Carol, and then there gets to be more light, and we realize, oh, that's like, yeah, it's, we were seeing it go from dusk till dawn, basically. And yeah, she wakes up, she walks out, and she sees, he's burning, some of them. Yeah, if you're young, just some advice: get you someone who will kill and burn zombies so you don't have